Hi, my name is Andrea Rojas, and I will be presenting on Cyril of Jerusalem, the expectations of a Christian. Just some background history. So up until the 4th century, Christianity was considered illegal in the Roman Empire. As Christianity became more widespread and more popular, more people began to convert. Soon after, the religion itself became legalized under Constantine, and Cyril became Bishop of Jerusalem in 340 AD, right after the religion itself became legal in the empire. After this, there was a demand for someone to lead the catechumens, who were the people converting to Christianity, and Cyril became this leader for the catechumens. During this time, Cyril gave lectures preparing the catechumens for baptism and for their journey to becoming Christians. And then this is where procatechesis comes into play. So procatechesis is the ancient text that I will be focusing on, which was it was actually not written by Cyril. Cyril just did the lectures, and it was one of the local nuns or monks who actually recorded Cyril giving the lectures. So the style of procatechesis is a letter/instructional manual for the catechumens. It was an instruction manual explaining the expectations that Cyril had for the catechumens in their journey of becoming Christian. So what were these expectations? So the expectations that were set forth for the catechumens were: 1, having their affairs in order; 2, be present not only mentally but physically as well; 3, not return to his or her old ways and begin their new life by living in righteousness instead of sin. So focusing on the aspect of having one's affairs in order, what Cyril meant about this was that the catechumens needed to have arrangements made before the actual baptism. So a quote by Cyril himself is where he says, "If your soul is dressed in avarice, change your clothes before you come in. Take the garment off, don't cover it up. Take off fornication and impurity, and put on the shining white garment of chastity." Here, Cyril wants them to recognize their sinful ways, and instead of covering them up, they should leave them behind as part of the preparation for baptism. Sins like fornication and impurity, and the white garment that Cyril talks about in his lecture is the symbol of purity and rebirth. That is when the Christians are being baptized. The second expectation is being mentally and physically present. And then this is a quote by Cyril: "If you are here in body but not in mind, you gain nothing. The action of the baptism itself, the dipping of one's body into the water, is meaningless without the spiritual aspect of it." In his lecture, he gives the example of Simon Magnus, who was baptized but not enlightened. He dipped his body in the water but did not enlighten his heart with the Spirit. As far as his body was concerned, he went down into the water and came up from it, but his soul was not buried with Christ or raised with him. And then this is an example of someone who was physically present during the baptism, but wasn't mentally or emotionally present in the moment, so the meaning of it was meaningless. And then the third expectation was, don't just go through the motions. What this means is, and as Cyril states in his lecture, if you persist in your ill will, the preacher is not to blame. Don't expect to receive grace. The water will receive you, but the Spirit will not. If you don't commit to immersing yourself in your new life as a Christian, then although you go through the motions of being submerged into the water, you will not be submerged by the Holy Spirit. If the catechumens do as Cyril says, then they will rise up from the waters as a new person, as he states in his procatechesis. Move forward and don't look back. That's another one of Cyril's expectations in his ancient text. And he states, if your lips declare your desire, but not your heart, but your heart says the opposite, your judge can read hearts. From today, give up every unworthy occupation. Don't let your tongue speak any unholy words. Don't let your eye go astray and rove after unwholesome sights. The catechumens are expected to no longer live the kind of lifestyles they had before being baptized. And this is one of the arguments that Cyril pointed out in his instructions of what the expectations of being a Christian is. Living a life of righteousness and not of sin is highly important. And then this is my presentation. Thank you so much.